It is Thursday, August 6, 2020, and this is your Three Gorges Dam update. We have 4 articles to cover today, including monsoon rain puts pressure on China's Three Gorges Dam. Also, courtesy of CGTN, heavy flooding wreaks havoc in South China. Up next, courtesy of Geek News, was building China's Three Gorges Dam worth it? And last but not least, courtesy of Xinhua, in pic sunset glow above Three Gorges Dam in Hubei. We also have some new Twitter footage playing in the background of today's video. Let's get into it. And our first update of the day comes courtesy of TheGuardian.com. Monsoon rain puts pressure on China's Three Gorges Dam. Some parts of China have had double the normal amount of rainfall in June and July. After a particularly active monsoon season across central parts of China, with places recording more than double the normal amount of rain across June and July, the water pressure on the Three Gorges Dam has increased significantly, leading to a slight deformation of the structure during July. Luckily, the dam has been declared safe as millions of people live downstream of the river in towns such as the now well-known town of Wuhan. And our next article is courtesy of CGTN and provides an update on China's rain situation. Heavy flooding wreaks havoc in South China. Heavy flooding continues to wreak havoc in southern China. The Ministry of Emergency Management said on Saturday that due to the influence of Typhoon Sinlaku, some areas in southern China will be hit with heavy rain between August 1st and 6th. China registered more than 20 heavy rainstorms this year, the second highest number since 2013. And this is from August 4th, 2020, and courtesy of GeekNews.com. Was building China's Three Gorges Dam worth it? When construction began in 1994, it was designed not only to generate electricity to propel China's breakneck economic growth, but also tame China's longest river, shield millions of people from fatal floods, and as a symbol of technological prowess became a searing point of national pride. But it hasn't quite worked out that way. For a start, the whole project cost 200 billion yuan, that's 28.6 billion US dollars. It took nearly 2 decades to build and required uprooting more than 1 million people along the Yangtze River. And while the government promised it would be able to protect communities immediately downstream against a once-in-a-century flood, its efficiency has been questioned. Those doubts recently resurfaced as the Yangtze Basin saw its heaviest average rainfall in nearly 60 years since June, causing the river and its many tributaries to overflow. Despite the havoc, Chinese authorities claim the Three Gorges Dam has succeeded in playing a crucial role in intercepting floodwaters. The dam's operator, China Three Gorges Corporation, told China's state news agency Xinhua that the dam has intercepted 18.2 billion cubic meters of potential floodwater. A Water Resource Ministry official told state-run newspaper China Youth Daily that the dam effectively reduced the speed and extent of water level rises on the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze. But with multiple gauging stations monitoring river flows in the Yangtze Basin seeing record-high water levels this summer, some geologists say the limited role of the Three Gorges Dam in flood control has been exposed. David Shankman, a professor of geography at the University of Alabama who has studied flooding on the Middle Yangtze, said the record-breaking water levels showed that the Three Gorges Dam could not prevent severe floods. That's a factual statement, he said. This dam is fully operational for many years now, and we have the highest water level ever recorded. Shankman added that studies by Chinese and foreign researchers over the years have found that the dam's reservoir is too small to significantly reduce downstream discharge during severe floods, although it does help alleviate flooding during normal years. Miroslav Marantz, an associate professor of storage and hydropower at the IHE Delft Institute for Water Education, said the problem is not the design of the dam, but the expectation that the dam can solve all of the problems of the flooding on the Yangtze. It's impossible to do it with just a dam, he said. For example, while the Three Gorges Dam can reduce the intensity of floods coming from upstream to a certain extent, it won't be able to prevent floods caused by intense rainfall on the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze or the tributaries in its basin entirely. And that is part of the problem. A lot of the flooding in central and southern China this summer, for instance, was caused by rains that fell downstream and didn't ever pass through the dam. And now I'm going to jump ahead to the part that talks about the controversy surrounding the dam. Moving on. One of the most controversial aspects of the mega project was its enormous cost for villagers who had lived for centuries on the banks of the river. To make way for the dam's massive reservoir, about 1.4 million people were uprooted, their ancestral homes demolished, communities broken up, and farmlands flooded. Building the Three Gorges Dam displaced more people than the three largest Chinese dams before it combined. The reservoir submerged 2 cities, 114 towns, and 1,680 villages along the riverbanks. Displaced residents have complained about inadequate compensation and a lack of farmland and jobs after relocation. Many have accused local governments of embezzling resettlement funds and using excessive force to quell protests. In 2013, the Chinese government acknowledged that some of the funds were embezzled or misused. Many also faced a reduction in living wages. According to Chen Guozhi, a scholar at the government-backed Chinese Academy of Sciences, income of migrant families dropped by 20% after relocating, as they were forced to abandon their fertile riverside flatlands to farm on the steep, unsteady slopes. The dam has also had a serious geological impact. Chinese officials and experts admitted at a forum in 2007 that the Three Gorges Dam had caused an array of ecological issues, including more frequent landslides. China's state news agency Xinhua reported at the time the huge weight of the water behind the Three Gorges Dam had started to erode the Yangtze's banks in many places, which together with frequent fluctuations in water levels had triggered a series of landslides. The water in the reservoir saturates and erodes the base of cliffs, and the fluctuation in water levels changes the weight of the reservoir and the pressure on the slopes, destabilizing the shoreline, geologists say. And now we're going to jump ahead to one last part of this article. It touches on the number of earthquakes in China since the dam's construction. Moving on. According to a study from the China Earthquake Administration, in the 6 years after the reservoir was filled in June 2003, 3,429 earthquakes were recorded along the reservoir. Only 94 earthquakes were recorded from January 2000 to May 2003. And in addition to the flooding and earthquakes at the dam, there's also the sediment to think about, which builds up behind the dam, reducing capacity and causes significant erosion downstream. Moving on. Thank you for watching this video. If you're finding it informative, please consider giving the channel a subscribe. And this article doesn't contain much text. It's a series of photos supposedly taken at the Three Gorges Dam on August 4th, 2020. And it says photos taken on August 4th, 2020 show sunset glow above the Three Gorges Dam in central China's Hubei province. And I think this is a good place to wrap up today's video. I hope that you found it informative, and check back soon for more content.